everyone, and welcome back to another episode. It's Ariel, the licensed mental health counselor, and we are back with another episode. Getting into today's episode, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we do want to highlight that. And I wanted to start off this month with a specific topic on how your mental health affects your physical health. I think people forget that, even though we have mental health issues, this doesn't align with our physical health. A lot of the times when we are having a lot of physical issues, or sometimes just in general, our mental health can be affected by this, or the other way around. A lot of times that we can have mental health issues and tend to put them to the side and not understand that they can have a long-lasting effect on us. And a lot of times when we avoid these things, they start to show up in a physical way. And so I just want people to know that even though you take care of your physical health, it's also important to take care of your mental health. And with May being Mental Health Awareness Month, we definitely have to highlight this. And I wanted to start this off by, letting people know how the two work together, so that we can understand that there's no hierarchy between the two, and that it is very important to get help in both areas, right? So we are back playing Powerwash Simulator. Again, with this game, it's basically me in a career through power washing, and we're basically going through with the career and taking different jobs and power washing different places to make money for the business. Let's get into today's topic and get into the game. Alright, so as we get into the game, I just want to remind people that, of course, I have written down notes, so I will occasionally look down to refer to my notes so that I know exactly what I'm talking about, and I don't want to miss, any notes or any specific points that I may have written down. So that may be the reason for me to be occasionally looking down, but let's get into the topic. So when it comes to good mental health, it can positively affect your physical health. In return, like I said before, poor mental health can negatively affect your physical health. They recommend a dental cleaning every 6 months, a yearly checkup to your doctor, and regular screenings for certain cancers and certain diseases and such. But when did you last assess your mental health? When did you take the steps to improve it? I think people forget that just like you go and you check the doctor and you do all these things for your physical health, there are certain steps that you can take for your mental health too, and it's just as important. If you don't take care of these things, like I said before, they intertwine with each other, and both can be affected if you don't take care of one. I can't imagine having severe anxiety and never getting it checked out, or possibly getting help for it, and being anxious in every situation, and now you're stressed out, and now it's making you get certain medical issues, and it's just a lot. And if we take the time to prioritize our mental health just like we do with our physical health, we can decrease both things and continue to work on both so that we can live the life that we want to, right? So types of ways that your mental health can affect your physical health, right? So over time, poor mental health can take a toll on your body, and it increases your risk for chronic conditions. Anxiety, like I said before, increases the risk of arthritis, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and high blood pressure. Along with depression, it heightens the risk of diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. And stress raises your risk of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Now, this may not be the same thing for everybody, but this is just a general consensus that yes, even though you may have these things, you can definitely affect your own mental health by not taking care of this stuff, or the other way around. Having stress, depression, anxiety, all this stuff can lead to other things, and if you don't take care of it, and I'm not saying necessarily go straight to medication, but getting the help that you need as far as therapy, or getting some type of coping skill to at least be able to manage it so that you can live your life the way that you want to. And I think people forget that these things can easily build up over time if we don't take the time to actually look at them. And not saying that it's an end all be all thing, like if you don't take care of it, that's it, but it can definitely affect you in a negative way. And on top of that, why would you want to keep living a life like that when you know that there's help out there and there's multiple resources? Not everything that somebody else does is going to work for you. So why not try and start somewhere? Poor mental health can also affect you having sleep problems. People with mental health conditions are more likely to suffer from sleep disorders like insomnia, sleep apnea. Insomnia makes it hard to fall asleep and stay asleep, and sleep apnea leads to breathing problems, which can cause you to wake up frequently. Getting a good uh, Getting a good amount of sleep is always a good thing for you physically and mentally. You know that if you don't get a good amount of sleep, that you're not going to want to be at work the next day, or you want to be at school the next day, right? So why not try and do something that's going to benefit you, and try to see, okay, maybe if I get help for these things, I can get a good amount of sleep at night, and I'm not sitting here struggling every night to get some good sleep because my mental health is affecting me from sleeping, or vice versa. Also, substance use, smoking. When it comes to people with mental health conditions, they are more likely to suffer from smoking more than others who don't have mental health conditions. And among smokers, people with mental health conditions are more likely to smoke a greater number of cigarettes. I mean, we know that in a lot of workplaces, they give people smoke breaks to help when they are stressed, or just in general, if that's part of their routine. And we know it's not a healthy habit, but people tend to use smoking as a form to decompress and to help them. But we all know that, like I've said before in past videos, smoking and substance use does not help you solve your problems. If anything, it just helps you to put them to the side and gives you an excuse, or just, a way to cope in that point in time. But once you become sober again, a lot of these things are still there. And using substances and smoking definitely doesn't help. So we know that if you do have mental health issues, not getting the help for them just increases your chances of using these things. And then now this creates another problem, which creates a possible addiction disorder, right? And that's the last thing that we want. So this is why taking care of your mental health, greatly affects your physical health, right? So just to continue on with the topic, another thing that is said is that people with depression often have unusual low activity in their prefrontal cortex, right? The area of the brain that's responsible for decision making, problem solving, and working memory. These skills are collectively known as executive functions. You can use these skills daily to work and learn. And this ties into, again, if you're not taking care of your mental health and you have depression, especially severe depression, it's going to be very hard for you to function day-to-day tasks, because you're not going to have the motivation to get up and go to work and do what you have to do. And that's not saying everybody with depression has that problem, but a lot of people with depression are less motivated. And part of this is because, these areas in their brain are not functioning to the best of the ability. And this is why sometimes people with depression need to take medication, because, the medication is helping to get you back on that balance. I'm not saying that you have to take it forever, but it can at least help you to get motivated and do the things that you're supposed to do, so that you can get these resources and learn how to function day to day by yourself. But you can't start that way if you don't know exactly what you're doing. And if the depression is so severe that it's very hard for you to even get motivated to do these things, right? Along with the executive functions, anxiety also impacts your executive function skills. It can cause you to overthink and making it hard to focus. We know, and I don't know about others, but I've seen a lot of people with anxiety. It makes them very hard for them to function day to day, especially if you have social anxiety. We see people all the time. In order for us to get to places, we have to function with other people. But if your social anxiety is so bad that you can't leave your house, this definitely affects you, and then it continues to affect you in a way that could possibly lead to your own physical health. So again, getting help for these things. And this is going back to, not only getting mental health resources, but also seeing a provider and getting, wellness checks with your doctor, and working with both your therapist and your doctor, so that you're in good health in both places, mentally and physically, right? Your mental health influences your gut health by impacting your diet, causing inflammation and altering your hormones. These changes may impact the balance of bacteria in your gut, ultimately affecting how it functions. So taking care of your mental health lets you know that, okay, I know that, of course, everybody eats junk food. We don't all eat healthy every single day. But if we have good mental health and we take the time to make the proper choices, we know that we can eat properly while also enjoying the things that we know aren't the best for us. But if we don't have that capability to make those decisions, this can affect our physical health, and now, leading us to medical problems that we now have to go see a provider for. So again, these two things come together, and we have to understand how they both affect each other in a negative and positive way. So also, when your levels of dopamine and serotonin are low, as happens with depression, you don't have a feeling of well-being, and that can lead to a lack of energy and interest in activities that you previously enjoyed. One of the things that we're taught when it comes to depression, one of the signs is lack of motivation and not wanting to do the things that you enjoy doing. And this can affect someone greatly, because if you are not taking the time to enjoy the things that you want to enjoy, this can lead you to just be feeling very down every single day, because we know that there are tasks that we have to do as human beings every day in order for us to function the way that we're supposed to, or just live in society. But within that, I try to tell people, make sure that you are taking care of your mental health by indulging in self-care. Self-care is very important, because you want to make sure that you're also balancing the things that you are supposed to be doing and the things that you want to do, essentially, because it's still your life at the end of the day. An imbalance can affect how much rest you get and how much energy you have for the next day. It may also be more difficult for people with mental health conditions to take care of their physical health. When you have a mental health condition, it can be hard to seek care, take prescriptions regularly, or get enough exercise. If you have a serious mental health condition like schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, if you're not taking medication for these things, it can definitely throw you off, and it can lead to a possible episode, which we know can result in negative actions that could have been prevented if we took care of our mental health by taking our medications regularly, but also, seeing a provider, seeing a therapist, keeping up with them to be able to support ourselves and understand that we have to maintain a good mental health for ourselves so that we can take our medications and be at the top of our game, so that we can get enough sleep and wake up and feel well rested for the next day. Because we know life doesn't stop for us, and we have to keep functioning at our best. And in order for us to do that, we have to be responsible and take accountability and go to sleep on time, exercise, do the things that we're supposed to do. And of course, learning how to find that balance between the things that we're supposed to do and the things that, we want to do and the things that we enjoy, right? Your mental health affecting your physical health. The last thing that I want to say when it does come to that is poor psychological health can disrupt your ability to think clearly, make healthy decisions, and fight off chronic diseases. Over time, neglecting your mental well-being can lead to severe health conditions, and it can create problems for you. And I think people forget that, because a lot of the times, if we don't physically see something happening in front of us, then we tend to ignore it or neglect it. And there are a lot of health conditions that can happen, and a lot of times there are no symptoms. A lot of times when we have mental health issues, there are little slight things that we might not notice, but this is why we go see the proper resources and take advantage of this time, so that we can get someone to be able to, someone who understands this and can point these things out and educate us, and then show us, okay, this is why we were acting this way, this is why we feel this way, and this is how we can help ourselves to be able to live the life that we want to live and maintain a healthy mental health and physical health for ourselves, right? So with that being said, what can you do to help maintain your mental and physical health in good standing? Keeping yourself mentally and healthy often involves proactively taking care of your mind and mood, and knowing how to manage acute symptoms when they happen, right? So I'm not saying, wait the last minute to get help. Sometimes we do because, we can be stubborn and things happen and we're just scared. But, this all comes down to being proactive instead of reactive. If we see something happening and we don't understand it, get the help and, see if we can get our questions answered and see if we can use the resources that are available to us so that we can get the help, right? Um, if you find yourself in a stressful situation or managing an anxiety attack, try deep breathing. It decreases your heart rate and it calms your nervous system. I always let my clients and people that I see, deep breathing is always a go-to when you're having anxious thoughts. There's so many different deep breathing activities that you can look up, and I can also put some resources and let people know where they can find those activities or coping skills when it comes to deep breathing, because there's so many of them and they're very effective and different ones work for different people. But when you're in the moment and you don't know what to do, it can be very hard for you to learn how to manage having these attacks. And starting to practice these coping skills like deep breathing will help you to have something to go to when these situations arise, because it's not like a one and done thing. These are things that you're going to have to practice and learn how to get used to using and being able to manage, right? Also, engaging your senses by squeezing a ball, touching ice, or showering in hot water. A lot of times, if you're having anxiety attack at home, these are things that you can do. Try drinking a cold glass of water to suppress the symptoms that you're having, to be able to calm you down so you have something else to focus on than what's currently occurring. Squeezing a ball, so the stress and the anger that you're going through, you can engage it in that way. These are very effective things to help you get through the moment, that way that you're able to figure out what's going on and get to a state of being okay and being calm so that you can better assess the situation, right? um Also, meditating and practicing mindfulness to bring your mind back to the present moment. And this is very, very important, because when you are stressed, anxious, or angry, a lot of times we go into fight or flight mode, or we just get to a point where we are overthinking and we are not focused on what's happening in front of us. And this can be very dangerous, because then we are responding based off of emotion. And that's the last thing that you want to do, right? Making permanent decisions based off of how you're currently feeling and how your emotions are. So taking the time to step away and meditate and practice some type of mindfulness to get your brain centered is definitely always a good thing, to be able to help you understand that, okay, I'm upset and I'm allowed to be upset, but let me just take a second to breathe and calm myself down, and then I can better assess the situation, right? Also, relaxing your muscles with progressive relaxation techniques to release tension associated with anxiety. A lot of times when people get anxious, they get curled up, they get balled up, they're very, very tense. Doing things like relaxing your muscles, moving yourself around, anything that'll help you to break the tension that you're having. Because again, squeezing yourself and making yourself severely really stressed out to the point that you're pent up doesn't help you at all, and will create more medical issues and physical issues for yourself. And learning how to relax your muscles is definitely beneficial for you, so you can kind of get out of that fight or flight response, right? And the last thing is removing yourself from the trigger if you can identify it. I don't know how many times I have to tell people, in whatever situation you may be, it could be a situation where you're arguing with a family member, a friend, it could be a situation where something just happened and you got upset. Anytime that you are able to remove yourself from the situation and give yourself the chance to calm down is always beneficial for you, because again, responding based off of emotion never leads to anything good. And a lot of times we end up saying something or doing something that we're going to regret, when we could have just taken the moment to remove ourselves if we can. And that doesn't mean not addressing what's happening, but that means taking the moment to step away so that you can breathe and calm down, and then address it when you're ready. and, have a clear head. Because a lot of times we say things out of fear, we say things out of being upset, and then it doesn't help the situation and it just makes it worse. So taking the time to step away definitely is beneficial. As far as when it comes to self-care and learning how to do this on a regular, daily, just like I've said before, this is my self-care. Playing video games is my self-care. That is part of one of the things that I enjoy doing, along with watching TV, coloring, hanging out with people. This is my self-care, is playing relaxing video games where I'm able to not think about anything. Like, I'm able to talk about this topic because all I'm doing is cleaning. And for me, cleaning is relaxing. For some people it's not, and I get that. There are many different games that you could try, and maybe video games are not for you, and I get that too. But for me, this is relaxing, and this is why I chose to combine the two with mental health and being able to get this out. Because again, I know a lot of people have said that having something to look at while people are talking definitely helps them too, and sometimes I can help people with situations. So for myself, this helps me with being able to have something that's comforting and also something for people to look at while they're getting the information from me. But I think it's also useful in the fact that it shows you guys that yes, everybody has a means of self-care, and this is part of my self-care, right? So self-care means taking time to do the things that help you live well and improve both your physical and mental health. This can help you manage stress, lower your risk of illness, and increase your energy. Even small acts of self-care in your daily life can have a big impact. I know people don't think about it, but going to Starbucks to get a cup of coffee is part of your self-care. I mean, that helps you get through the day. Some people might not be for it, but going to get your favorite meal at the end of the workday, or even taking your lunch by yourself, is part of your self-care, because you're working all day and you're interacting with people 24/7. So taking the time to do something for yourself, to help you get through the day, is part of your self-care, right? So here are some other self-care tips that I feel like could help people who don't know where to start, or you started before and you stopped because you weren't sure or you didn't know. Getting regular exercise, even just 30 minutes of walking every day can boost your mood and improve your health. Small amounts of exercise add up, and so don't be encouraged just because you do 30 minutes you don't think it's enough. Walking for 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever you can get into the day, is always beneficial. Like, I know for myself at my job, I have coworkers who will walk during their lunch break. They'll eat something, they'll snack on something, but then they'll walk outside around in the parking lot for a good 10-15 minutes before they go inside, because they're inside all day. A lot of people are sitting at their desk all day, and I don't know about others, but I enjoy sunlight, hence the reason why I live in Florida. I enjoy the sun. I don't like being inside and being cooped up in a building all day. Yes, it does get hot, of course, yes, but I will take the time to go outside whenever I can and sit in the shade and just enjoy the outside weather, because we take for granted sometimes being able to do that, because some people are not able to, and it takes a lot just being inside all day. So yes, regular exercise, walking, doesn't matter how much you do it, just being able to get something in there, some type of routine, will definitely be beneficial for you at the end of the day. Eating healthy, regular meals and staying hydrated. A balanced diet and plenty of water can improve your energy and focus throughout the day. I think people forget how beneficial water can be for you, and paying attention to your intake of caffeine and alcohol and how they can affect your mood and well-being. For some, decreasing caffeine and alcohol consumption can be beneficial. I've seen, a lot of people who will take breaks from alcohol or even caffeine or some type of sugar to just give their body a break and give themselves a reset, because they do it so much. A lot of people drink coffee every single day, multiple times a day, and we know that that's not healthy for us, but nobody's saying that you can't have it at all, but you gotta find some type of balance with it. So that means taking care of yourself by drinking the water that you're supposed to be drinking and cutting down on the alcohol and the caffeine so that your body is getting the best nourishment that it can get, right? Also making sleep a priority, getting a good amount of sleep, sticking to a schedule, making sure you're getting enough sleep. It's very important as far as, getting the amount of sleep that you're supposed to, especially if you work long hours. We can't do the best of the ability to our jobs if we're not getting the amount of sleep that we're supposed to be getting. So I think it's very important that we understand that we do need to take care of our mental and physical by getting the proper amount of sleep, and this comes with having a routine and having a schedule and making sure that you're going to sleep on time, right? Also trying a relaxing activity, exploring relaxation, wellness apps, incorporating meditation, muscle relaxation, like I said before, scheduling regular times for these things and other healthy activities you enjoy, such as listening to music, reading, spending time in nature, and engaging in low stress hobbies. Like I've said before, I enjoy playing these type of casual video games because they're just that. They are casual video games, and I don't have to worry about how battle royales are, where it can be very stressful and you're working with a team and people get upset when they lose. These things are very stressful. As they can be part of our self-care, but I think it's a good balance when we have these type of video games, and then we also have other games where we can be competitive. And then in between that also is making sure that we're doing things like reading, listening to music, watching, our favorite TV shows. For me, I love watching Murder She Wrote, things that are relaxing like that. I like watching HGTV. Those are things that are just relaxing to me. It may not be relaxing to other people, but for me, they're relaxing, and it's something that I like to partake in after the end of the day, or, just in general on the weekends. Also, when it comes to your self-care, is setting goals and priorities, deciding what must get done now and what can wait, learning to say no to new tasks. If you start to feel like you're taking on too much, try to appreciate what you have accomplished at the end of the day. And these are very important things that we have to remember too. Learning how to say no is very important, and again, this goes back to my other video of boundaries. Making sure that you're taking care of your self-care by saying no to certain things that you can't accomplish and not feeling bad for it. Setting goals and making sure that you understand that not everything is going to get done at one time, but that doesn't mean that you can't get them done in a proper manner. You just have to schedule it and plan it and make sure that you are prioritizing what you can do now and what you can do later, because it can be very stressful trying to do everything at one time, right? Also, like what I said before, is appreciating what you have accomplished at the end of the day. Sometimes we don't appreciate that we were able to get up and get out of our beds and go to work and do our job, just for that day. It can be very stressful going to work every single day and doing, our hard jobs, but we have to appreciate ourselves and give ourselves gratitude for being able to get these things done. It may be so simple to us, and if you think about it on a greater task, some people are not able to do that. So we have to take pride and be grateful in ourselves and understand that, these are things that we have to be proud of ourselves for, right? The other thing is focus on positivity and staying connected with other people. Identify and challenge your negative and unhelpful thoughts. I try to tell people all the time, you can't run away from negative thoughts. They're always going to be there. We have to acknowledge them and learn how to separate them from our positive ones, and also understand why we're having those thoughts. And this comes with taking care of our mental health by seeing a proper provider who can help us with those negative thoughts, and not trying to push them away. Everybody has some type of negative thought that's happened in their mind before, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to just push it to the side. If not, it's just going to keep coming up. So challenge yourself and being able to expose yourself to what's going on and really process your thoughts. Do this by journaling or however you can get it out, to be able to understand your thoughts instead of running away from them. And like I said before, staying connected, having support of family and friends, people that can provide you emotional support and practical help. I think people have to understand too, you could be the strongest person ever, but at the end of the day, you're going to need help at some point, and you can't be afraid to get that help, or you can't be embarrassed to get that help because you're so used to helping yourself. It's fine being able to be strong and being able to help yourself, but you also have to understand too, it's okay to get help from other people. And sometimes we forget that there are people that are here for us and they're always willing to help, but we have to be able to reach out to them, because if we don't say something, then they're not going to know. And then if anything, we are just suffering in silence, and that's not good for us, right? You just have to take the time to put help or put the effort into your physical and your mental health. And if you do well in both areas, then you will do well in life. But if you neglect one, it's going to continue to affect the other. And we have to stop running away from our problems and issues and understand that our mental health can affect our physical health. Our physical health can affect our mental health. And they're both just as important to each other, correct? Well, I thank you guys for coming and watching another video. Like I said before, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so I'm going to continue to push out the content. I know I've been off a little bit, but I'm going to continue to push out all the content for this month of May and to continue on and making sure that I'm putting good topics out there. Please engage in the conversation by commenting down below. Also letting me know what topics you would like me to get into if you have any questions. And I will continue to get the content out there, and I appreciate you guys watching the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.